Testing, testing, testing. Uh-oh. Oh boy, here we go. Hey, Amar, okay? It's been a while. There we go. Hey, Viz. 1 second, man. Just getting like last minute stuff set up here. Oh, cool. Here we go. It looks like it's running all right. Looks like it's okay. Oof, it's weird seeing it on the big screen. All right, cool. Hey, Viz. Taking a break from Genshin because everyone was upset yesterday, so we're gonna play Honkai instead. I was trying to get Arknights running on the computer, was trying to get BlueStacks, but I couldn't get some stuff fixed at the last minute, so we'll just have to kind of live with it. How are you doing, Viz? And Amar, okay, I hope you're doing well as well. Just give me a few more seconds here, guys. Just trying to get all my stuff set up. Hey, White Despair. White, I'm tired, but I think I'm well. I think I'm well. Viz said I did a Spire run today, but just for floors 9 and 10, managed to 3-star them both, despite Abyss Herald and their stupid shields. Oh yeah, man. All right. Yeah, I think on my 9 and 10, I think I'm at 6 or above, so I'm pretty happy with that. And hey, Ty. Hope you're doing well, Ty. I'm trying to think. Do I feel like a degenerate for playing this game? No, I don't. I really don't. No, I don't. Honkai's actually been pretty worthwhile. How are you feeling, White Despair? Man, everything's so bright. I can't... Everything's too bright. 1 second, guys. I've got too many lights in front of my eyes. It's gonna give me a headache. God, I hate getting old. White Despair, why do we get old, man? Oh, guys, did you see the spoiler video? Like I talked about the spoilers there. I think it'll be a fun time. I'm excited to hear what you guys have to say. And the audio should be okay here as well. But if anyone has a problem with audio, let me know. Oh, good, standard. No, that's too... Oh, yeah, okay. That's better. Great. Okay, now my eyes won't die. Hey, Kayla. Now let's see. What to do. Honkai's a little bit different. Honkai, we can kind of do whatever we want. This is one of the new modes in Honkai. I know not many people here know Honkai, but this is one of the new modes and I very much enjoy it. I'm still trying to clear through some of the easy levels with under-geared suits, so we'll have to see. Anyway, guys, I would love to know what your thoughts are on the most recent spoilers, if you've seen it. If not, that's cool, but let me know. Now let's see, what do I really want to do here? Oh, okay, wait. So what's causing the situation? And Chris is asking, what do you think about the stain information? Is it useless since the heroes should already have it? Man, like, look, honestly, I know. Okay, Chris, you're asking me, shouldn't the heroes have already checked Tartarus for clues? Because that's the last known location of All For One that they absolutely know he was at. Shouldn't the heroes have checked Tartarus? If that's what you're asking, then I don't know what to say myself. Because in my mind, I thought that someone would have checked Tartarus. So I don't know here, man. I don't know. I don't know, Chris. I really hope Skelly shows up. I really hope Jason shows up as well. Yeah, I'm not used to seeing my computer games so nice on this. Many people seem to hate the chapter and it's absolutely hilarious. Oh, this is wonderful. I love it. I love it whenever someone hates the chapter. Okay, okay. White Despair, where do I have to go to see these reactions? What I want to read them too. Do I have to go on Reddit? Do I have to go on Do I have to go to Twitter to like where do I need to go to read these reactions, White Despair? Why do they hate the chapter? Is it because Toga's not around? Robert said, whenever I hear Tartarus, I immediately think of the brute character from Halo 2 with the same name. Almost done with Star Wars Vision with all 9 episodes. Episode 5 was pretty good. Named the Ninth Jedi. Basically, Batsmith and his daughter try to rebuild Jedi Order. Animation was great. Okay, haven't finished watching the video, but Kayla said, but yeah, I was happy with the bath scene. Especially love how Todoroki took care of Izuku. The chapter makes me think about a chapter from school before where Ida and Todoroki worried for Izuku like a mother worries for her child. Oh, thanks, Omar. Yeah, well, Omar, there's One Piece spoilers this week. It's pretty much the big switch is that 2 fights finished, but they're not like they're technically non-important. And then Momo does something pretty impressive. Oh yeah, Ty, I don't like change either. But don't worry, it's like Genshin's bigger, older I was gonna say, yeah, bigger, older stepsister. They hate seeing Class 1A jerking Izuku off. Their words, not mine. Oh, you mean like taking care of Izuku because he was out and about for a month, not really sleeping? Yeah, you know what? I too do not like taking care of a kid that quite literally changed his art style. Yo, man, actually, some of these reactions are insane. Ochako obviously went to sleep because she's the traitor and starting to feel guilty. Like, nah, man. She went to sleep because the author's just the worst. And so I see what AN683 said here. And, man, I put so much effort into that spoiler video and no one saw it. Anyway. Oh, gotcha, White Despair. But AN683 said, I was really happy when I first read it because spoilers were really wholesome, but then thinking about it, there are some things I'm not really feeling. Yeah, that's pretty much me too, man. If you see the video, there's some ideas here that I'm not feeling. I think the worst thing of them all is the whole situation with Endeavor and Shoto. Like, I get if Shoto feels bad about it, but it just, like, that one just made me think, way to say that you guys are so above everything and so special that the overall lesson that was learned in the last 3 chapters of preaching doesn't apply to you guys. Nah, like, there's just a lot of things in the chapter that just make you feel like this is... It just made me feel slimy on the inside. The direct, though, Trip. I haven't watched the video because I want to read the chapter first. Alright, fair enough. When it comes to the Nintendo Direct, Bayonetta 3 was pretty cool. Didn't care for Kirby, but I get that Kirby's really popular. Overall, I thought it was... I think on paper it was a solid Direct, just because there was a lot of new stuff coming up. But really, I think I'm only interested in Triangle Strategy and maybe Bayonetta 3. I absolutely died of laughter when it was revealed that Stain legitimately left All Might a love letter. Can you imagine if the heroes didn't check the inside of the knife and only took the letter? Man, that'd be awkward. Yeah. But I, like, honestly, him doing that, look, whenever people talk about Stain being so cool, point them to this, the one segment when Stain left All Might a love letter, preaching about what it means to be the ultimate hero. Like, man, you can't take Stain seriously. Ah, thanks, Chris. Chris saw it. Excellent. I feel better now. Nice. Recently, I know right now the YouTube channel is, like, full on dying. And, you know, that's my fault because I've been spending more time working on the novels. But, yeah, like, right now I know that YouTube isn't sending my videos out to subscribers as much, which that kind of sucks. It'd be nice if they at least sent out the videos, but I know how the YouTube game goes. I should be doing better. But what can I do when I'm running out of time? Hey, Gohan. come on, man. Believe in Ochako traitor theory. She could be an unwitting agent. Not 100%, more like 20%. Oh, yeah, no, man. She could. She could. Skelly and I have a joke about it just being someone's parent, just being really proud of their kids, saying what they're doing all the time. But yeah, no, Ochako could be the traitor. It's just like, it's a stupid theory. And if you're going to do like unwitting traitor, then that's like the majority of the other theories as well. I mean, like, if you look at the Nezu traitor theory, they're talking about him being an unwitting traitor. If you look at the Izuku traitor theory, he's also an unwitting traitor. Traitor. Like, it's... anyone can be an unwitting traitor, right? That's why it's not that impressive to say that Ochako is one, right? Oh, Robert. Yes, I know about the casting. I saw it on the Nintendo Direct. Chris Pratt as Mario is a surprise. Like, that's gonna be so manly and so blue-collar. Like, holy crap, man. Maybe that, like, in some ways it feels right, but in some ways it's like, I don't know how it's gonna sound when your voice comes out of that character's mouth. She's not gonna die, man. Oh, AN63. Okay, cool. AN63, sorry. Miguel, I'm glad you brought it up. Something that could be happening with the Shoto and Endeavor feeling guilty, it might just be them, like they're projecting their guilt onto people and think they'll treat them badly. Yeah, I thought about that too, and like we'll talk about it in more nuance there. But if that's it, then that's... someone really should have talked to them at that point, because then that just changes the onus on who should be the person taking charge. Like Nezu should be telling Endeavor to come on in, right? Like the fact that we're still playing around with this idea, I'm not a fan of it. And from a narrative perspective, like the idea is coming out because Horikoshi wants to give Shoto this thing to deal with, but it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I really do hope that we get to see a sequence where the people accept Shoto as well. Although, like, the idea that we need to be in a situation where we need to see people accepting Shoto, it's just weird. It's not that the ones at UA will treat them badly. Let's see, about to attack UA will be able to... wait. The general thing I've seen people complain about is that they think the students are fools because they have a generally positive outlook in the chapter. People are saying that since All For One is about to attack UA and will be able to deal with the defensive with zero effort, the students shouldn't be acting the way they are. Personally, I think they're giving All For One too much credit. I think so too. In that regard, I think so too. I think All For One actually is going to have to put in some effort, because All For One has to put in effort to actually win things. I mean, All For One's lost a lot too. When it comes to UA, unless the trader is a critical, like, play here, the trader, like, All For One's going to have to put in work. There's no way around it. Mind you, I think it is naive of the kids to be pretending like everything's okay. Like 100%. The rest of Japan, think about the amount of property damage going on in Japan right now. Think about the reality that a bunch of people were had their bodies controlled by a villain just the other day, or like actually the same day. The reality is people are still suffering out there, and these people inside their walls are thinking like, oh yeah, let's make these guys feel better. And it's like, from my perspective, do you people not have better things to do with your time other than putting on a concert? Mind you, they might not put on a concert, but they're thinking about it. Now, if it's just like, you know, a nice little thing where the author is saying like, look, they care about people. It's just like time and place, man. Again, if there's explosions going on outside, which there are, because people are destroying buildings everywhere, I'm not going to be inside of my hollowed walls thinking like, yo, let's all have a banquet and be happy, and let's make you feel better. No, that's insane. That is legitimately naive. I don't see any way to really talk about this other than the kids being naive. And the imagery of them being inside of UA's walls makes it worse, because this turns it into a situation like they feel like those rich people that just kind of give you a little condolences or give you a little like money or give you some food and make it think like that's going to fix everything. They're ones that go out donating things, and it's just like, oh yeah, out of sight, out of mind. That's the thing that kind of rubs me the wrong way when it comes to the kids. But again, in terms of like the feeling behind it, I do appreciate that the kids want to do something nice for the people in the shelter. But again, time and place. Like the man's All Might's talking about the pivotal battles coming, and these guys are thinking like, oh yeah, we should do something for these people. I mean, again, It's just priorities. Anyway, that's just my little bit here. I'm reading one of your guys' comments. I do think they're giving All For One too much credit. And no, go on. I'm just doing some grinding here. Saying he's just a fanboy does too much. Also, going off the chapter, it seems like the giant shark Izuku fought was actually one of the villains directly sent by All For One. Yes. So if we include Nagant as one of his underlings, then All For One has already lost 4 out of the 8 villains he recruited. At least if we go off the silhouette and we saw when Nagant told us about them. I really think there's more than that, honestly. White Despair, I mean, it's a whole jail of them. I really do feel there should be more in that grouping. But yeah, let's assume, like, you know, if we assume it's only the elite that he recruited, then yes, your numbers are correct. But I really hope it's more. And yeah, thank you, Sarge. Oh, I didn't say it in the video. Okay, thank you for the clarification. I should have said... it's always so hard. You forget little details when you're talking about the video. But thank you, Sarge. I remember we talked about this a long time ago, so that's my fault for not being clearer about that. I should have just taken my time and explained it. So it seems like suspicions were correct in that All For One wanted One For All before Shigaraki was completed, which only makes it weirder that if he really is on a rush here, why allow Izuku to go to UA and rest? As White Despair says, we give All For One too much credit. I haven't finished the story in Honkai because I don't like the one character, and I'm up to some of her stuff. Let's see. Already lost... I don't think Chris Pratt was a bad choice. He did voice Emmett in the Lego movie, and he was a bubbly, fun character. Yeah, no, I don't think he's a bad choice, because I remember him in Parks and Rec. And maybe it's not about people but Shoto accepting himself. In some part, he feels guilty in some way. We already know that about him, so it's Shoto dealing with his insecurity. I would be quite happy if that's what it is, because if this actually is something about the people, it's just... It does still say that Shoto doesn't think he... You know, he doesn't think he applies to the whole rhetoric. And that just says ultimately that it's not really reaching him. But you pointed out really well, Miguel. It's his insecurity. I can't believe we got the release date for America's first and for Japan for the movie. That kind of surprised me. Well, I mean, it's being made by an American studio, right? Overall, All For One is an absolute idiot and is ironically acting like Shigaraki was at the beginning of the series. Oh, yeah. Surprise Peter Grill is still updating. Going on patrol around the perimeter would make people feel better. Yeah, what rating would you give the chapter trip out of 10? Let me think, Ty. The All Might and Deku reunion was underwhelming. Their goodbye seemed extremely dramatic, and this resolution just seemed a little bit anticlimactic. Hope there's a follow-up, or that Izuku gets some time to reflect on himself. I don't think Izuku's going to get time to reflect on himself. Something's weird here. Trip, did you hear about some anime news recently? No, I don't know. There's a lot of anime news. Blame Jiro. All she could think about was getting the band back together to try and move these people. I'm more upset that people like Ida, Momo, Todoroki, and Tokoyami agreed to this idea. Yeah, no, I do blame Jiro. Like, again, I understand the feeling behind it, but yo, man, it looks so tone deaf. White Despair says, I agree that it would have been smart for All For One to keep more. However, Trip, there lies the key detail. It would be smart. Yeah, agreed. It would be smart. Hey, Jason. All For One, yo, Spy, if you see Izuku training a specific kid, let me know. We'll attack the moment he passes the quirk. Oh, that'd be good. Oh, yeah, Moonlit Fantasy. Yeah, I saw that, Gohan. Random told me about it yesterday. So that's the one. I was annoyed that the doctor gave them crucial info, but your spoilers let me know they used the lie detector, the most reliable tool for honesty. It depends. If they used Vigilante's lie detector girl, the one with the quirk for it, then it's worthwhile. But, you know, a regular lie detector, it's like I wasn't going to scrutinize that in the spoilers. I'm just going to leave that for the official translation, just in case there's information. Because Sukachi's sister is the one with lie detector. And if she's there, then it becomes a little bit more interesting. Dr. Stone will start the final arc of the series after... oh, nice. The way I understood it, according to Muscular, All For One told most of the other escape teachers to go wild and only recruited a few people for his mission. Yeah, reincarnated the source getting an adaptation. The only one who didn't agree to it is Bakugo. Oh, Shigaraki, you're an incompetent leader. You wasted stained muscular moonfish. All For One. So I recruited the 8 most elite villains with Tartarus so I can... Like, honestly, when I found... Okay, in the spoilers, All For One goes... Oh, sorry. The heroes talk about how... they talk about how through interrogating the assassins, they find out that All For One wanted the assassins to bring in Izuku. And what I'm thinking when I read that is just like, so you actually had an elite crop that you sent out one by one, or you had them work one by one instead of all teaming up to take Izuku down. And it's like, how many aneurysms are you going through, guy? Like, honestly, if the author wants to say that All For One has brain damage, and that's why he does such erratic things, I wouldn't be against it personally. Oh, that was sarcasm, by the way. Yeah, no, I was kind of getting a feel of that, Jason, but I wasn't too sure. It's always hard to tell. So let me reread that again with the sarcasm. I was annoyed the doctor gave the crucial info, but your photo let me know they used a lie detector, the most reliable tool for honesty. Yes. It really depends on whether or not it's the quirk girl. But to be honest, Japan uses a lie detector for quirk, and we know Japan has 99% confiscation rate. The lie detector is functional, and My Hero Academia has future tech and quirk, so who knows? Yeah, but you know, like from a narrative perspective, if the author comes out and says like, oh, Garaki is like an expert liar, he's learned how to be an expert liar, so he knows how to check a lie detector. If they come out and say that, then, you know, that's just okay. It's just another great "Are you serious?" heroes moment. Because again, with this chapter, if turns out that the heroes have not gone and investigated Tartarus before, which is really strange to me. It's one of the last places that All For One was at, and you didn't go there to find clues, at least as far as we know. You guys agree, right? That's kind of weird, right? That no one it wouldn't occur to anyone to go check out Tartarus. So no, like a lot of things here, you have opportunity for a lot of incompetence on both sides. But yeah. It's funny how some are asking if they're going to announce season 3 for Slime when they just announced the movie for next year. Yeah, about the chapter, I don't think that Jiro was saying that they were holding another concert. He was just generically saying that they should do their best to cheer people up like they did in the festival. Oh yeah, no, Jazz, I agree. Like I mentioned it there too when I talked about Jiro acknowledges that it would be weird, and I think I acknowledged in the video that it might not be a concert, but if it turns out to be a concert, it's going to be like, it's gonna look funny. One thing I'm curious about is if we'll legitimately find out that All For One went insane. When he was being taken to Tartarus, he mentioned that he used an infrared quirk and the rustling of clothes. I wonder why All Might is looking through the window creepily, then just going through the door first. Is this a sign that All Might will die soon? I think it was just a gag. In the defense of sending them one by one, you could argue the fact that they're elite villains, they may not be good at working together. I think Nagant could have made it work, honestly. I mean, Will, that's the only thing you really have to argue. But at the same time, it's like, this is well, here's how this works. You're All For One. You want to be a demon king. Then ensure that your people can work well together. It just really looks really bad on All For One. Next chapter ends up with the heroes of Tartarus finding a pre-recorded message of All For One, then Tartarus blows up. Yes, that would be great. Personally, unless they tortured the doctor, so he should have kept his mouth shut. He's supposedly having undying loyalty, willing to die for Shigaraki. Why sabotage his masterpiece? But the plot needs to move forward, I guess. Yeah, that's a really good point, Jason. I really hope he tricked the lie detector. To make sense of surroundings, and that is his method of spatial awareness had allowed him not to remain sane since the fight with All Might. Since he can't use his quirks, so he might have legitimately gone insane. Oh, that'll be good. The concept reminds me of partying, praise the god of gold and silver. Meanwhile, the Persians were breaking through the gates. Yes. All For One isn't that bright of a villain. He could have done what Dr. Octavius did, which was making the Sinister Six to take down the hero. If All For One did that and added Muscular and Nagant to the mix, One For All would have been handed to him on a silver platter. Yeah. Oh, see ya, Ty. As for Dare, I think it's reasonable for them to be uncomfortable with a guy who abused his family and created Dobby. They know they took a first step, but more steps need to be taken. I knew someone was going to come up with this, Jazz, and I got ready for this one. Personally, I would be more uncomfortable about the guy who has a target on his back and actually has people coming after him than a guy who we can see that his family is working together with him and who it does seem to be repentant and who is actively still out in the field despite all the abuse he gets. Like, nah, man, this is an extreme situation. I'm not going to let personal problems get in the way of this. I am definitely not going to let whatever Dobby said get in the way of this either, because I'm going to be thinking, this guy's a villain. No, see, that emotional play there, I think that's just I think that's emotional trickery. That's just insane that you draw a line at a person who's trying to do better as opposed to the target who is actually connected to the guy that's causing the entire situation. That, in of itself, when we're talking about treating the heroes as people, how many other, like, actually on paper, is everyone in that area right now, when it comes to that population, are these people all without sin? I doubt it. I doubt it. Come on, man. Bakugo's mom slaps him upside the head all the time. Yue chained up Bakugo and caused Bakugo to get kidnapped. Nah, man, I'm not playing this game. I'm not playing this kind of like emotional trickery. I don't care. I legitimately do not care about that part in context and relative to the idea that the supervillain is going after the other kid. Nah, man, I'm not gonna draw these weird distinctions in crisis mode. It's just not going to happen, especially, and again, the thing that makes it jarring is the fact that we had this entire thing about the heroes who are left behind trying to do better are the ones that they should be supporting. That's how I'm going about it. Like, again, I get that it's uncomfortable, but in the grand scheme of things, toughen up pretty much is what I would say to the people there. I'm pretty sure like a good chunk of those people have done horrible things in their past too, because the fact that they were even willing to freak out over Izuku, to some degree there has to be some level of misdeeds among the population there. So that's how I would go about it, Jazz. I'm not getting caught up in the reeds of the emotional situation. I mean, like, to just rephrase your comment there, Jazz. You think it's reasonable for them to be uncomfortable with a guy who abuses family and created Dobby. Mind you, Dobby, as we can see, is a product of his family and something else that was going on with him. But with that point, it's reasonable to be uncomfortable with him. Therefore, we can justify keeping him out of UA. And I'm saying that one, mind you, I'm being very aggressive on this, but it's just because that's the end product on this one. Ultimately, I don't want to play the emotional game on that one. I think Endeavor is deserving of some amount of tolerance. That said, you also make the point that more steps have to be taken, and I totally agree with that. My particular issue on that one is right now, with the amount of effort that you just spent, this was the moment for the... And mind you, this is assuming that the civilians are actually behaving the way that Shoto says they are. This would have been the moment for the civilians to show that they really took the lesson to heart. But again, mind you, Miguel pointed this out earlier. We don't know if Shoto is projecting. Well, actually, we know that Endeavor isn't inside the compound, so both Shoto and Endeavor have this opinion. So we don't know if their opinion's correct. But yeah, ultimately, it's still a really great discussion topic, and I really do enjoy that we have it here. But I don't like what it does narratively in general. Jason said, I doubt it. Hodi's science is questionable at best. It's functional, the lie detector, but honestly, he's already locked up. Just keep your mouth shut. I would have felt better. Just something I thought was worth bringing up, since All For One legitimately mentions how he manages to retain his sanity, and then it is denied that method for many months. Maybe the reason All For One, has been contradicting everything he ever said or did was because he legitimately went insane. Or they could argue All For One mind is deteriorating, brain cells don't regenerate. If he's that old, his mental prowess isn't tippy top, hence the bad choices. If they tortured him for info, but how does the optics of torture look for people who probably want to reform hero society? I don't know. Izuku has a target on his back, but Izuku is genuinely a nice kid. Izuku didn't do anything wrong. Endeavor is someone who did generally do bad stuff. Him causing discomfort makes sense. Yo, Jazz, reading that second comment. I'll go back to your second comment. Let me read your most recent comment. I don't think they're keeping him out of UA. I'm wondering about that too. It's just that Endeavor's presence would cause some discomfort, so he doesn't go in. You wouldn't have protests about keeping Endeavor out of UA, I think. Yeah, I agree, but that it's that critical line, cause some discomfort. Like honestly, I don't care. For I wouldn't care if I was in a situation. Let Endeavor go in, mind you. Like Miguel pointed out, they might be projecting. Because they might be the ones being careful here, but then like the other part of the rhetoric that comes in is that Endeavor and Shoto think that they aren't worthy of being put in the same group as the other people. And the other problem is that Shoto internalizes this so much, which is a problem for Shoto in particular, and this is like the author trying to make something out of it. That said, Jazz, I want to dissect this other thing here. Jazz, you're playing a really dangerous game here, because you're looking at circumstances, but you're not looking at the potential fallout. Of the two, Izuku didn't do anything wrong, but Izuku has the most consequences attached to him. This, Jazz, this looks like you're on the way to making a really compromised decision if you were put in a really stressful situation. Like if you were given an ultimatum type of thing, I'm concerned about this decision-making process. Like if we're looking at it in the most pragmatic terms, Endeavor's presence there only really incites Dobby at worst, and maybe Dobby can rile people together. But then Izuku actually has a full-on target at his back that it's been advertised, essentially with all the assassins going after him. Like mind you, you're saying causing discomfort, and you did say that. That the people might not actually protest him, but the game you're ultimately playing here, I'm not sure about it, man. Like again, this is my own personal values coming in here, but Endeavor did some bad stuff. He's repentant of it. Yeah, him causing discomfort makes sense in the same way that Izuku would cause discomfort, in the sense that Izuku is a target, and anytime that Izuku is here might incite the villain to come after him. But yeah, overall, with the general point, him causing discomfort makes sense. I agree with that. I guess the big thing is whether or not the civilians actually act on it. And again, back to Miguel's point, the big issue here is that we don't know what exactly the civilians would do. And when it comes to the situation of the civilians, it'd be a lot easier to talk about this if we actually had a reaction for the civilians. Thank you for the input there, Jazz. I'm also trying to like make sense of this. I'm trying to keep up with multiple conversations, so apologies if I say something wrong in the process of getting to the final conclusion here. I must admit, Jeff, hearing your ridicule of All for One in your spoiler was... That's great, White Despair. Deku was a target, but he's a good kid. Endeavor is a former domestic abuser with a homicidal son. Him causing discomfort makes sense for the average person. I agree with that. That's why I say it's more on Endeavor and Shoto's side rather than from the public. Like they feel they have to atone for before facing the public again. Also, do we have any theories on why the heck All for One is trying to capture Izuku before Shigaraki is 100%? Even if he did capture Izuku, he'd still have to wait for Shigaraki to be ready. I don't know about that. I legitimately don't know what to make of that situation. It's just it's so random. I would say, yes, Endeavor makes me feel icky, but I'd be more concerned with him protecting my family. We can deal with this BS later. Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't think they're keeping... Oh, I got that. Let's see. All for One thinks that it doesn't make much difference so long as Shigaraki can steal one for all. But then, why on earth is he specifically asking for before the 2 months? Shouldn't he just say, hey, go out and bring Izuku to me as soon as possible? Yeah, I don't know, man. If All for One comes up next chapter with some... everything is going according to plan bullshit, I swear. Like, no, your plans have been absolute crap. You lost a golden opportunity. Yeah, also, Endeavor doesn't know if there are people who were affected by Dobby and will feel discomforted by seeing them. Maybe he doesn't want to risk triggering that kind of awkward situation. But now we're heading into a situation. Izuku doesn't know if people have been directly affected by All for One. It's just... I think the crux of my issue here is, again, Endeavor and Shoto thinking that they are excluded from the situation. But at some point, well, mind you, again, I get it. This is tough. I get that they feel bad about it. I guess the main crux is that they think that they are somehow different than everyone else. And in this case, I think they're depreciating themselves. If we do say that the crowd would be willing to take them in, they're depreciating themselves. I don't think they should be doing that. It kind of feels like the lesson that's been learned hasn't been learned by them. I feel like Horikoshi is also doing it to create this whole drama moment for the two. And even just like talking about risking that kind of awkward situation, it's just a situation of they have a lot of leeway. It's hard. It's hard. Well, no, that's the thing, Miguel. Okay, Miguel, let's make it more normal. Izuku's being targeted. Muscular was destroying buildings like for days before he ran into Izuku. Ultimately, Muscular was coming after Izuku. If someone ultimately had a family member killed directly by Muscular, should Izuku, like, it's the same kind of situation. Ultimately, we're looking at the final consequences, and we're playing games and trying to justify why one consequence is somehow lesser or greater than the other. Endeavor doesn't want to trigger people because people might have been affected by Dobby, but at the same line, people could be triggered by Izuku because Izuku and him being targeted has gotten other people in trouble in general because the other villains targeting Izuku might have hurt someone in their family. Ultimately, both people are still affecting the populations. Like, that's still fundamentally happening. And it's just ultimately Izuku is going in there. He's not really caring about the discomfort he's causing. He's connected to a lot of potential tragedy, depending on how someone ultimately views the situation. And Endeavor, you know, as you're saying, he doesn't want to cause the potential awkward situation. But at the same time, it's like, again, I guess the thing here is you have an awful lot of leeway to think that you have the luxury to not cause awkward situations. Like, when I see this kind of thing here, it does speak to a degree of leeway for this type of situation. Mind you, I don't think I'm expressing what I want to express correctly here, but I'm looking at the end results, and again, it's hard because if Endeavor and Shoto have an emotional hang-up on this, then that's that, and we can't really say anything without an objective response from the civilians. But the rationales here, my thinking is, if Izuku's able to put up with the potential fallout of him being there, then Endeavor can too. I think that is completely fair and within the realm. But again, if Endeavor is emotionally compromised, what can you really do here? Whitelist Burst said, we should also keep in mind that Endeavor thinks he shouldn't cause unnecessary discomfort. Yes, I've come around to that after Miguel pointed out. In the case of Izuku, he was exhausted and needed to rest. Endeavor is still in good condition and doesn't need to rest at UA. That's fair. He doesn't need to. I guess in my mind, I'm thinking, like, if you have the luxury to still be able to play delicate games with the civilians and protect the civilians' feelings, you're not in the worst possible situation, which is correct, as White Despair says. That's what I've been saying. It seems like he's in some sort of rush here. Yeah, he's wasting manpower. It really does sound like both sides' plans are full of flaws. Everyone's affected by all about that. I think it'd be cool if we see Izuku crush a Nomu effortlessly, then see people see that Izuku is the best protection. I think the civs would act Endeavor maybe by whispering shit about how Endeavor is a bit sus behind Endeavor's back at most. Maybe a handful of guys calling Endeavor out in a small protest. Okay, the thing I found more weird. Okay, we're moving into another topic. Oof. Was All Might's rhetoric about getting back into action. What the heck is he talking about? This is the stuff that could get him killed. Agreed. All Might's rhetoric is very strange here, because I'm looking at this and it's like, All Might, you should not be going anywhere near this. Just help the civilians at the shelters. Yeah, no, that was insane. I 100% agree with you there on that one, Jazz. I am not into that rhetoric. And I want to see what the final chapter says, because like in the translations, it looks like All Might is thinking this, and he's not saying it out loud. And it's like, All Might even says he wants to keep up with the kids, and it's like, bro, you are a skeleton. You are coughing up blood every time you flex. No, it's done. Your time's over. Todoroki just need a pep talk from Izuku, then he'll stop depreciating, probably. Let's also not forget that the original Intel All for One gave Nagant. The villains were told to capture our student from UA. Guess he didn't think it was important to mention he has multiple quirks. Yeah. Izuku didn't create All for One. It was because of Endeavor's action that Dobby came to be. Izuku had no control about the origin of All for One. Did you notice that Godzilla monster? Oh yeah, I saw that, Jason. Um, Miguel, what are you trying to say with Izuku didn't create All for One? Izuku had no control about the origin of All for One. What are you trying to say here? Because again, well, let me know what you're trying to say there. Because I just think, yeah, just let me know what you're trying to say there. It's not like Endeavor isn't entering UA. He went in when the Princess summoned it as part of class. Endeavor probably just doesn't need any potentially make the civilians uncomfortable when he has no reason to currently enter UA. He doesn't need to rest and he just plans to continue. That's fine. I find that reasonable. Positives, I did like Jiro's stuff this chapter. That was very wholesome. Really liked that they got the band back together. That's a nice group of characters that I wouldn't mind interacting more. Interesting in seeing what Tokoyami's rhetoric with Hawks ends up amounting to. It's clear that Hori hasn't forgotten about it. Yeah, Tokoyami is interesting right now. I really hope it's not a setup. Yeah, no, Miguel, I get that. Well, Miguel, what I want to know is whether or not you're trying to justify why one person is deserving of tolerance and the other one isn't. And if you're ultimately saying that that Endeavor is less worthy of tolerance because of the things that he has done in his past and the things that he is trying to do to make up for it, if you're saying that he is less worthy of tolerance for that, and I don't think you are, because we're talking in speculative terms, but if you start saying that, then there is no hope for Hero Academia society when it comes to the villains. At this point, there's no hope. But mind you, I hope that you wouldn't. I hope that if you ever get to the point where you have a situation where you have the trolley problem and you are given a choice between Izuku and Endeavor, and I hope you're not going to blame someone for who they were as opposed to who they're trying to be. But I don't think you are, because we're in a really speculative problem in this situation. In this situation here. Again, very speculative. It's hard when we don't actually see how the civilians are talking about Endeavor. All Might's basically like a retired athlete who sustained some heavy injury and wants to continue playing. I need a new fantasy show sooner or I will die. He's trying to say that Izuku is responsible for, but Endeavor and adult actions directly contributed to the creation of Dobby, murderer of over 30 people. Yes. No, I understand that. However, I wouldn't take that into penalizing Endeavor. Not if you know who Endeavor is now. I wouldn't take that into consideration. Oh yeah. But Endeavor has already apologized during the press conference. Like, how much more apologies do you want to demand for Endeavor? And to what degree are we going to say that Dobby has autonomy here? Like, to some degree, autonomy, like, Dobby still knows what's right and wrong. He said it himself. Like, he knows that what he's doing was wrong, but he has tunnel vision on Endeavor. He has an obsession on Endeavor. To some degree here, you can't attach so much of Dobby's actions to Endeavor himself. My God, can we take a second to acknowledge how beautiful Momo looks in that outfit and hairstyle? And we need Endeavor's blood. Screw apologies. Oh, okay. Thanks, Jason. Yeah, got it. All right, Jason. You know what? I can deal with. All right, Jason. Yeah. But yeah. Also, Japanese values are all about family, pride, and reputation. Yeah. Until it's a. It's funny. Japanese values are about that until it's all about the individual personality and quirk-based individualism. Even if they improve a society, Japan is still Japan. Yeah. No, I agree on that. 100%. But That's the problem though. Unfair blaming of a family member because of another family member's actions, that really has to go away. Because otherwise, we're gonna keep getting situations like Gentles. That has to die. Um, that's probably one of the negatives of that collectivist society. They really do need to get rid of it. Mind you, again, like, I have no problem with people feeling uncomfortable about Endeavor, but there's a limit to how much they can demand from him, I feel, in this particular situation. I heard Bakugo wanted to call it Izuku Deku, but stops midway. Oh yeah, that's what he does. He does that. Oh no, Miguel, no, Miguel. I'm saying no, Miguel. My point on that was, Japan, My Hero Academia shows collectivist problems, but it also shows very individualistic problems. Like right now, like the Japan of My Hero Academia has a weird mesh of individualism and collectivism. Like it's pretty much like collectivism comes. I feel like you end up seeing the worst of both sides when it's important for the plot. Like when you're looking at the Liberation Army comes in there and they're all about like the worst parts of individualism. And then when you're having like the hero problems, it's like the worst parts of collectivism that come out. That's the only point I was trying to make. And I know that Japan is collectivist. The wholesome stuff this chapter was fun. Didn't expect Jiro to link into Shoto's rhetoric of putting people at ease. Glad she's getting spotlighted more. Don't think she'd get anything after the CF. I thought she would get more after the CF because of Kaminari, personally. Anyway, in regards to shaming a family because of the sins of a sibling, I do think that should go away. I do think like that's a negative part of current society, and I think for Hero Academia society, you 100% could do away with it. I managed to find one hilarious comment I saw earlier. Are the classmates going to wipe Izuku's ass next chapter? Okay, Dobby even tells the public how Endeavor abused his perfect creation. I can understand blaming Endeavor, but why also blame the ones that were abused? And to that point is where we have to bring up Miguel's point that we don't know if Shoto is actually being pressured in that way, or if Shoto is scared that he's going to be pressured in that way. So we do have to bring Miguel's point back into consideration on that one. Oh, also, guys, yesterday you might recall we were talking about Shonen Jump. I was kind of hoping that Skelly would be here. But we were talking about Shonen Jump, and I had said that Kimetsu had a strong start in Shonen Jump. And then Skelly said that I was wrong, and he pointed out some stuff. And, you know, allow me to take a moment about this, just because I don't like spreading misinformation, and I don't like being wrong when I thought I was right. I try to be very careful about these things, but ultimately, I went back and I looked at Kimetsu no Yaiba's first year to see how it did. And looking at the data now, you know, I should not have said it had a strong start, because that's relative. I should have said it had a good start. Kimetsu ultimately had a good start. And ultimately, yeah, like, I was looking at the data. Kimetsu was never a series if I was following Kimetsu at that time in the rankings, I would never have, like, I would have just thought that Kimetsu would have survived. It wouldn't have died before 20 chapters. It was guaranteed to go to 50 chapters from its early performance. But yeah, I just wanted to clarify that last little bit. There. Ultimately, I wish Skelly was here because we could have talked about it a little bit more. But when I was looking at Kimetsu's data, Kimetsu right now has the Kimetsu at that time had the performance of a mid-tier series. So it has the performance of something like Undead Unluck right now, in general. And looking at that, Skelly had mentioned that maybe Kimetsu had brought up Muzan early because it wanted to be more popular. That in of itself is the effect of Shonen Jump's hyper-competitive environment. So in the context of the question, will Shonen Jump ever stop its practices? I don't think so, because its practices at the end of the day still lead to Kimetsu. And in Kimetsu's case, Kimetsu did not have a strong start, but it had a good start. Kimetsu ultimately had a good enough start that it could afford to spend time experimenting, and it could afford to fail trying to get popular. That's what Kimetsu's start afforded it. Now, for just to figure out what exactly we're comparing against, I did also go and I looked up My Hero Academia's ranking data, or table of contents data, and My Hero Academia compared to Kimetsu has a much stronger start. When it comes to Shonen Jump, one of the good indicators of popularity are color pages early on. Like if you look at every series that ends before 20 chapters, they don't get a color page beyond the second chapter. Kimetsu had, in the first 20 chapters, Kimetsu had 2 color pages that I have recorded here on the 7th issue and around the 17th issue. My Hero Academia, however, had 5 color pages. And the color pages, again, they are a very good indicator of popularity. In general, My Hero Academia had a very strong start compared to Kimetsu. Is it the strongest start that we've seen in Shonen Jump? I want to say yes, but because I haven't done a full sweep of all the years that we have available for Shonen Jump series, I can't really say, but stronger start than Kimetsu. So just wanted to clear the air on that one. Let's see. Let's see. That's not issue from. Let's see. The wholesome stuff. Got that. I managed to find one. I got that. Dobby even tells. Okay, got that. Discounting the Kaminari stuff. I didn't expect to get more. Looking forward to more Kaminari stuff. Also, they re-domesticated Bakugo at this point. How Jiro's dragging Bakugo. That was a pretty good one. That was a pretty good one on that one. Classroom of the Elite is doing year 2 for its light novel. Oh, nice. Another hilarious comment I saw was part of the fan base. We want My Real Academia 2.0. Horikoshi School Festival 2.0, that is. Alright. That's pretty funny. Dr. Stone's also ending. The main manga is going to lose most of the powerhouses in about 2 years. Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I wonder what's... Man, I kind of wish Skelly was here. Damn it. I really wanted to talk to him about that Kimetsu thing. But whatever. I guess what's our current powerhouses? Oh, also, the Jujutsu Kai spoilers were pretty good. What are the current powerhouses for Shonen Jump? I mean, One Piece is still okay. I don't know. One Piece is probably done in 4 years. Let's see. One Piece, Jujutsu Kai. Sakamoto Days might be one of their powerhouses going forward. I've really enjoyed Sakamoto Days. Yozakura Family. It's getting a color page. Yozakura Family probably has Katekyo Hitman Reborn energy, but that means it ends around chapter 300. Undead Unluck is going to be in trouble once all the weaker series go away. So Undead Unluck isn't going to survive. Yozakura might also be like roughly... Yeah, no, Yozakura already said. It's hard. There's no series here really coming to the top easily. We'll have to see what happens. If I give us another co-op by giving us more 3-star gears. Yeah, I saw that, man. Alright, I'll get back to this. Well, let's see. People online are furious at the prospect of getting, and I quote, Cultural Festival 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's absolutely hilarious how adamant they are about not getting anything even remotely similar to Cultural Festival. You could actually see it's about to end next week. WS also adorable to see Ochako sleeping with her oven mitts. Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, she's sleeping with that so that she doesn't touch anything with her fingers. It's really neat. That was a really nice little detail. One thing about the chapter for sure is that it's a chapter about little details. Yeah, like Undead Unluck is a series that had it had more competition, it probably would have died, because the early weeks were pretty rough for it. But yeah, no, this one is one that survives by the virtue that other things sucked more than it did. Although, like, I don't know what an anime would do for Undead Unluck, because I don't think Undead Unluck is actually that, I don't think it's that exciting at some points. Like, for Undead Unluck, it's an anime that really... If you're doing an Undead Unluck anime, ideally you... Ideally, you give it a lot of budget, because I think the budget might be the thing that allows it to survive. But otherwise, it'd be pretty rough. One of my friends in a server showed me a tweet that said "World ends harem will save anime 2021." That made me laugh. Oof. Yeah. I don't know, man. Also, I don't know if you know this, but Jacko uses gloves when sleeping tonight. Oh yeah, Miguel. I got it. I mentioned that right a few moments before you said that, Miguel. Yeah. I thought that was really cute. It's because of her quirk. I also died laughing when I saw Mineta holding Izuku upside down by his ankles. He was legitimately drowning Izuku. Yeah, again, a lot of little details in the chapter are really good. I guess my question for you guys, do you guys think All Might went to Tartarus with the other three, or do you think he's actually playing it smart here? I do hope he's playing it smart. Oh, well, Sarge, that's because Honkai Impact has a desktop client. Like, I was trying to get Arknights working, but I couldn't get it working before doing the stream, so that's why I came on with this one. Kamiya Mineta, Sero, Ojiro, and Kirishima being bros in bathing Izuku was great. Oh, while Toriko being the blanket and covering Izuku was adorable. Also, Bakugo trying to get Izuku's name right and him telling that it didn't matter was neat. Yeah, that was really good. Oh, you know what? I mentioned this in the video, but I am very... It's one thing to keep Ochako and Tsuyu away from this whole situation, but keeping Shoji, Hagakure, and Aoyama out of this whole scene... Why those three? Why always those three? Hagakure, Aoyama are two of the most suspicious people when it comes to the online community. And then Shoji has a whole arc set for him. Why are you keeping those three out of this situation? It's so weird, right? It's so weird. And before All For One made Tartarus his base, and that's why anyone hasn't been able to get near, as he probably has some villains guarding the perimeter. Aoyama stocks going up through the roof. Jazz. All Might staring through the window creeped me out at first. I like how all Todoroki had to do was point to show where All Might was. Yeah, I guess he must have tried knocking, and maybe that's like no one heard it or something like that. I don't know, man. I don't know what to make of that. That was ridiculous. If I had to guess, I'd say that All Might's most likely with other heroes and they go off on his own. When All Might leaves UA, it's dark out. When we see Endeavor... Yay! All it took was a lot of ultimates in every direction. Do 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 do. There's not one trader but three traders, and those three traders are the traders to UA. I'll say it again, my bets are on Aoyama being somehow involved, and he just keeps being sus. Well, part of me is excited for the band squad. At the same time, is doing a concert a good idea? Well, Poison, ideally, they're not talking about a concert, because like Jiro says it herself. It's weird to be thinking about it, but we'll have to see. I think that conversation flowed on really well this chapter. Went from Izuku wrestling to All Might to bring up Endeavor to bring up putting people at ease. Very nicely. Ending was abrupt. Yeah. I do think, like, in the way that it flowed, I think the flows were pretty good. The ending being abrupt, I guess that's the... Well, oh yeah, and I guess next week we're dealing with the villains, right? So that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah. I guess that's the author's way of saying, like, yeah, this is all we're getting for a break. For now. Maybe. Maybe that's what he's saying. I don't know. Oh, oops. Wait. Still can't wait to see that isekai with MC skeleton. I think I know which one you're talking about. Oh, 229. Okay, we move on. A cutaway is bound to be a little abrupt. Yeah, a cutaway is bound to be abrupt. I agree with that. Like, in this case, you know, I think we did a lot of things during that night, but ultimately I do think that's probably the signal that we're not getting too much downtime. Like, if you were asking me, like, whether or not I would bet on downtime after the villain stuff, well, yeah, I mean, if we do a full heavy villain arc, actually thinking about it, if we're doing Attack on UA, we do need more setup. Legitimately, we need more setup for that to work, I think. Maybe we see villains next week, and then we see, like, Hawks and Endeavor, and them figuring stuff out, and then coming back to UA and figuring out what to do next. Oh god. I'm gonna die. I haven't been able to clear this stage, guys. This has been a consistent issue with me. Do you think Chainsaw Man is aimed at adults? No. It's aimed at kids by the virtue that isn't shown in Jump. It's aimed at, like, middle schoolers, high schoolers. And, yeah, White Despair, I can't really say too much about that kind of talk, because I don't really look at the volumes, right? So I don't want to... I really can't contribute on that one. Oh, yeah, Poison, I would have enjoyed talking about it, too. Ida was behind Izuku during this chapter, since All Might enters as if watching over Izuku like a big brother would. Really cute. I think this is the end of a downtime stuff content-wise, unless we have a training arc. Yeah, I think probably more likely we go villains and then setup, like villain exposition and setup, because that makes sense to me. Also, although mind you, if I was doing a trader reveal, I think I would give thought to maybe doing like a slice of life arc to make it seem like everything's okay, and then have the trader do something in the background that causes disaster to come out. I think that would be like a nice little mood whiplash. That's one thing I could see if we do something more casual. I could see it transitioning like that. People thinking it's aimed at adults because of blood, but they don't know Japan is less tame when it comes to violence. Yep. Also, my theory a while back from the gotcha about them needing 2 months to fix Shigaraki was correct. Really happy about that. Oh, nice, Jazz. Nice. I mean, it's also based on the conjecture that they get from the doctor. Or, like, you know, well, they confirmed it with Central Hospital, and then the doctor's deposition or whatever. Yeah, I'm glad for you, Jazz. I'm really glad for you. Props. I'll give you the props on the video on Sunday. People thinking it's aimed at adults, I got that. I think one of the fall animes that caught my eye is the Faraway Paladin, mostly because the MC is raised by the undead. Oh, nice. Actually, that's pretty cool. If it's a training arc, then it's going to be another joint training with Shiketsu. That'll be interesting. I wonder what the story's going to be with Bayonetta 3, because the first trailer gave nothing for it. Looks like aliens or like abominations. I think it's possible you don't see the villains next week. We might just get specific info about the intel Stain gave them, and that could reveal intel on the villains and their plans. Yeah, that's a fair interpretation. Ultimately, we're finding out something about the villains next week. But oh my god, man. Yo, White Despair. Legitimately, I need to understand. I want to make sure we're on the same page. What is your reaction if it turns out All For One's been hiding in Tartarus this entire time? Please let me know. I'm dying to know. Oh yeah, Trader. I got that White Despair. Oh no, Miguel. I read that out loud. Like we were talking about a little bit before you arrived, Miguel, about the idea that it would be stupid that the heroes didn't go and check Tartarus, the last place they saw or one of the last places that All for One was at. So that was just like something we mentioned before. But yes, no, 100%. Now, mind you, I should have talked about this a little bit more, Miguel. So that's my bad here. But you made a comment about that's why anyone hasn't been able to get near to Tartarus. If no one was able to get near to Tartarus because there were villains patrolling the perimeter, that would have been it. That would have made it automatically one of the first places to check. Now, Tartarus itself, there's no way to get to it on land or by vehicle like a car, because they broke the bridges. So, to engage with to Miguel's comment here, with Tartarus, my big thing is it would be very stupid if the heroes didn't bother to check Tartarus first. And that's why I want to know what White Despair is thinking here as well. But my apologies, Miguel. Should have talked about that comment more. I wonder what the massive update for Monster Hunter Guy is going to be about next year. Probably a new area and some new monsters. Next time I think I'm coming to watch the MC who reincarnated to get a better crest. Okay, I'm not sure. It's even possible for All for One to hide in Tartarus. We see a panel of Tartarus this chapter and there's nothing left. There's just a few pieces of metal floating in the water with a seagull. No, there's the main building. The main building is still there. Like the main compound. I'm pretty sure. Like that looked at the main compound when I looked at it in the spoilers. It would literally be the last place anyone would look for him. Reminds me of, unless somehow created his own underwater fortress out of the ruins, and I don't think it's possible. I sure hope that's the case. For me, I don't think that would be the last place to look. Like in my opinion, if you're looking for clues on All for One, would you not go to one of the last places that he ransacked? One of the last known locations, right? In my mind, I would. And it's kind of strange that they didn't go there to pick up any of, like, whatchamacallit, Tartarus's security logs. Even that's strange. Banished from the hero party was my first experience with the whole MC gets kicked out of the hero party trope in light novel manga. It's funny seeing the parties that kick the MCs out struggle. Yes. Skeptic hacking the UA defense system seems like a pretty obvious thing that a trader could facilitate. I agree. That'd be a good way of doing it. And then that gets to bring him back into the story. Poison asks, can you explain to me what the SD card is all about? How did Stain get that? Yeah, well, Stain is like a tech whiz. So he was able to get the security data, and I don't know when he got that security data, but he got the security data. He must have gotten it after, or like during the actual escape, for whatever reason. Honestly, guys, I don't know. I don't know what the security data is gonna do. And actually, random, I've been waiting for Skeptic versus La Brava for a long time. I hope we get to see it. Let's see. The user's chamber will turn. Okay, you think that was the main building? Personally, just see a small fragment of the bridge. I don't think we see any. Ah, Jazz, thanks for being here, man, and thanks for the discussion. You brought up some really good points. White Despair, I'm basing that on my memory of it, so let me just very quickly check. Let me make sure that I didn't mistake what I saw, because I was kind of just scanning it. Going in here. Looking for the image. Bloop, 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 doop, 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 doop. So, White Despair, I'm looking at it now, and I think that might have been a trick of the eyes on my part. So, you know where the seagull is sitting? I'm looking at the one thing that's the one piece of building that's behind it. When I was looking at it from afar away, it looked to me like that was the bigger building and it was smaller because it was further away in the distance. But if it's relatively close to where the seagull is, then that's a piece of debris. So my mistake, man, in that case. Like, actually, I'm looking at it right now and it's like a trick of the eyes. I can't really... In some angles, it looks like it's the far-off building. But if it's close to the seagull, it's probably just a piece of debris. Like, I thought where the seagull was, I thought that was debris from the bridge with Tartarus in the distance. Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually having a lot of trouble discerning that. Let's see. White Despair says it seems to be a smart part of the bridge. Yeah, I'm gonna assume that's what it is, because now like I doubt what I'm looking. I doubt what I'm seeing here, so I'm gonna assume that's what it is as well at this point. Thanks for bringing it up, man. I would have thought that was just the main building from the picture I was looking at. Whew. Maybe the SD card recorded a video about All For One and his plans or something. Oh, that'd be pretty funny. Imagine if All For One was thwarted because of one random security camera was still working when he was saying his plan out loud. Then again, like, you know, whenever White Despair makes the jokes, he like, when, you know, White Despair makes a joke about All For One saying his, or recording his big speech to Izuku in front of other villains, and it's like, yeah, All For One is legitimately hammy. He might have been caught on tape saying his master plan out loud. That would actually be pretty hilarious. But I don't know, man. That's a little bit too ridiculous, you know, Poison? All For One couldn't be thwarted by something so stupid, right? Right? Sorry for bringing this back up, but the whole band idea, we do have to keep in mind that these are 16-year-old teenagers. They are still kids that know no better. Yo, if we're gonna bring their judgment into question, then I really don't want them out in the field. Like, if we're gonna, I mean, mind you, I'm being like, now on that one, I'm being aggressive. I'm being very unfair. Yeah, no, like, they're kids. They're idealistic. I actually have no problem saying that they're idealistic. The thing is, like, at the same time, these are the people that we have out on the field. I understand. It's such a weird spot because the school the school's gonna end up using them like soldiers when the villain fight comes. They're gonna be used like soldiers, but the school also wants them to maintain their innocence. It's such a weird spot to be in with this situation. Ultimately, you know, if we ultimately say that they are kids, then this is the time when I think you can bring in the guidance of adults. Like, the adult will have to think about whether or not this is a good idea, just because, again, like, the optics of it are just going to look really bad. Now, for me, in terms of whether or not this turns out to be a bad idea, it all really depends on whether or not the kids are punished for and when I say punished, I mean punished by the narrative. It all depends on whether or not the kids are punished by the narrative, whether or not this is going to be a good idea for whatever they end up doing. And what I mean by that is, if the kids end up doing something and they try to make things better, and then that something they do is what ultimately leads into the assault on UA, then it's going to look really bad on the kids for doing this. And that's probably when you're going to see the majority of the online community turn against the kids on this one. It all really depends on what the author wants to do here. Like, I think if the author wants to go out of his way and have a nice moment of levity with whatever the kids choose to do, if he's going to do that, I sincerely hope he doesn't punish the kids for doing that through the plot. I mean, I think it's fine that we can all make the jokes of, yeah, they were having a party while there was quite literally a party. Quite literally explosions going on, one city over. But yeah, ultimately for me, when I see the kids doing that, I think, yeah, you people legitimately are children. I think it's pretty ballsy to be doing this during this point in time, but that's pretty consistent with you being kids. We'll have to see how that all goes. So that's my long response to that one, Kayla. Ideally, for Horikoshi's sake, I hope he doesn't make that. He doesn't cause whatever the kids do, if they do it, lead into a tragedy, because that's going to make things really bad when it comes to the reaction. Anyway, White Despair, when you're talking about Tartarus, do you recall that Tartarus has levels underwater? Do you recall that Tartarus isn't necessarily floating, but rather it's like impelled down from One Piece? Are you keeping that in consideration? And White Despair, let me go in there quickly and check. Oh, oops. Let's see. Looking for this thing for White Despair. Do 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 do. One second, just trying to load this up. Okay, one second, White Despair. I'm looking at the preliminary translations that we have. That is a really good outfit for Momo. Okay, so there's no telling what truth is, but we count the 2 months from the attack on Tartarus. We only have 1 month left to prepare. Okay, White Despair, I can confirm there doesn't look to be any actual direct mention of them going to Tartarus. So the only indication of Tartarus here is that image of it. And that might be, the text on that one might be in time with the part where they talk about the 2 months from the attack on Tartarus. I guess the implication here is specifically when Hawks goes, or so we thought, and then he talks about Tartarus's security records. So he's saying that the information from Tartarus makes it seem like they don't have 1 month left to prepare. So like the implication would be, are they going to Tartarus to confirm some things? But yeah, kinda. Good call on that one, White Despair. Good call. I just think that's an important distinction that could potentially change the entire way we're looking at the end of the chapter. If it doesn't say that we're there driving there, they might just be flat out going somewhere else entirely. Yeah, I agree with that given the situation now. Oh wait, did I miss something? Villains monologue about their plans all the time or like to boast themselves. This is what causes the heroes time to think of a way to win. I can see All For One screwing himself over this. If that what's happened with a security camera called All for One plan at Tartarus. The heroes are the biggest idiots for not checking first when after Tartarus was attacked. Well, now we have to wonder whether or not Tartarus was above water for any point here. Hey Trip, I'm going back offline because I'm tired, but Stain looks like his idol has fallen, but I do like the slice of life the recent chapter. Yeah. Back content is going to be recommended to me. Okay. Jiro Momo Kami content. Still kind of disappointed that we haven't seen the viewpoints of Mina and Momo, especially after Midnight Majestic Death. I'm disappointed we haven't gotten Aoyama talking to Izuku. I think the teacher of 1B is a traitor. Season 3, Aizawa told him only the teachers know where the camp is before they went. All for One found out. Where? Oh, Kenneth, yeah, he's one of my crack picks. At night, Death Ray, so do you think we're doing the preemptive attack on the villains again, or will they strike first? Oh, do you think Hero Academia would work better as a Hero University series instead of a high school series? I think if you do a Hero University, you get away from some of the problems of using kids as child soldiers. But otherwise, like University would give it structure in the same way that current Hero Academia gives it structure. What you'd just be changing is the maturity of the characters. And in terms of the preemptive strike, yeah, we know that Tartarus has layers that are underwater, because that's how Tartarus works. Like if a breakout happens, they would just flood the entire thing. Yeah, when it comes to Tartarus, All for One might be hiding in the underwater portions, but we'll have to see what exactly he did. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind, White Despair. That's a really good point on that one. Okay, let's see. I honestly see with the possible UA concept going on, this will give a villain time to infiltrate, or if they already infiltrated, time to do what they came here to do. To be honest, I see this as a time for Toga talking to Izuku. I doubt Class 1A will leave Izuku alone unless they're busy with something like the concert. This will provide her that opportunity. We'll have to see. Mina's been closely staying with her friends, maybe to feel safe and secure. Maybe I'm just looking too into it much, since we don't really know what she's going through. And Momo, well, she's still the same. Right? She looks like she's alright. Like they look like they might be just putting on brave faces. Someone's comment here that I missed. The preemptive attack. I don't know. I think this could go. I think this could go both ways. I think a preemptive attack on All for One will get All for One out of the way, and then maybe Shigaraki can be the one to attack UA. Maybe that would be nice. I don't know. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know. I think White Despair would like a preemptive attack first before you attack on UA happens. Oh, god damn it. But yeah, we'll have to see, man. Hopefully, if we do a preemptive attack, I think that's where All for One bites the bullet or something like that. Let's see. White Despair said the one evidence against Vlad King being the traitor is that during Camino press conference, when he thought that Aizawa was about to fall for the press provocation, he had that internal thought. I'll wait for White Despair to write whatever he's gonna bring up here about how Aizawa must not fall for it. It would be weird for someone working for the villains to be concerned about Aizawa appears to the press. I mean, yeah, that's a good point there, White Despair. Like, to make that work, you would have to say that Vlad is just such a neutral party that he legitimately just wants to see who wins, right? Like, that's the only way to really make it work when you're doing that kind of trader. You have to make them just seem crazy. I don't consider All For One hiding there because of the plane he stole, but if he went underwater, that'd be cool. Yeah, it would be cool. I mean, if for some reason the big hideout is yeah, if for some reason the hideout is underwater Tartarus, then the author has to like put in a lot of effort as to explain why we didn't do this place in the beginning, because he has to explain why no one went there to check. But if Tartarus right now is completely submerged, then that's totally fine. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, I guess, would Tartarus be the best place to hide Shigaraki, like in terms of having facilities? I mean, Redestro might have hidden safe houses all over. Oh wait, no, those were all compromised. Yeah, okay, maybe Tartarus is one of the best places. They might be one of the few places that actually has the technology to be able to hide Shigaraki, or to like keep Shigaraki safe for the time that they need to. Oh man, if we do preemptive attack, imagine if preemptive attack is pretty much another pro hero arc. That would be hilarious if the kids aren't even involved in that. For all we know, All For One might be in another dimension or something, especially with his many quirks. Oh, if he has another dimensional quirk, that'll be pretty cool, man. That'll be super cool. I'd be into it. I also find it a bit weird if All For One's hiding a submerged, considering All For One pointed out that if it were to flood, the pressure would kill him. Okay, how can Genshin compete with this level of flashiness? Oh, simple answer, man. Genshin doesn't compete with it. Genshin just doesn't compete. That's just how it goes, Sarge. It's too flashy. Maybe Vlad was in too deep and made friends with Aizawa like how Hawks made friends. Oh, yeah, that's a good one, Mark. And Mark, you would know, huh? You would know about being in too deep with the enemy. Yeah. You gotta remember to keep... Unfortunately, Mark, as you probably know, you have to know how to keep those lives separate. That'll be the end of someone. Ideally, Vlad isn't the traitor, though. Ideally. Sarge, I don't know if you've been playing Honkai recently, but I'm trying to do a run where I try to use power-ups for these the support Valkyries. See if I can beat this mode without having to gear my Valkyrie correctly, because I don't have all the weapons for this one. Kayla, it's funny you say that because like all the trader theory, like the Nezu trader theory right now is going through the rounds, and then you have oh god, then you have like present Mike trader theory, right? Like a lot of people are quick to blame the teachers or to assume the teachers. Oh, my mortal enemy is here. God, I hate her so much. Yes, Gohan, I'm aware. I'm aware you're not into her. That said, for me personally, Gohan, I kind of separate the character from the suits, you know? I kind of wish this enemy on this stage was never here, though. She sucks. I hate her. Like, I don't like combat nuns. For whatever reason, combat nuns are almost always amazing in anime. Die. Die. Yeah, I'm very on and off with the game because it's so overwhelming to play. Yeah, it is. It legitimately is. I mean, yeah, like All For One ideally would have many hideouts, but I don't know if I can trust All For One's competency anymore. I mean, honestly, knowing that he actually gave the A-OK on sending out those villains one by one and not having them at least try to team up, Like, come on. I mean, Dictator. Dictator himself is 100% someone that should have been teamed up with another person. Because Dictator is just a manipulator. He's crowd control. Crowd control should be with a DPS at the very least. I thought Shigaraki's keep hidden in the CRC hideout. Ah, Poison. That's the hideout that All For One blew up. The heroes, we've discovered that All For One is hiding in submerged Tartarus. Let's just launch a torpedo at it, thus flooding the entire complex. And killing All For One, zero risk to us. All For One, no, my plans. Ideally, he's not in there. Ideally, but you never really know with Tartarus. Actually, what if the author is just like, oh, Tartarus is completely impervious to torpedoes? That's 100% something he would do. Oh, okay, gotcha, John. Interesting, John, interesting. I don't think I'm gonna win this mode, guys. I don't have the sheer DPS. So for those that don't know, Honkai is a lot more power creepy than Genshin. Like, it's pretty much accepted that every time a new character comes out, if you want to be relevant in the meta and in the higher game modes, you need to go out and you pretty much need to wail for the character, or you need to make sure that you summon the character and then you get all of their gear. And there's 4 pieces of gear that you have to get to make any character really viable at this point. So in this case, yeah, I'm not geared right. That's why I'm hoping to do a cheese strategy to get through this, but it's not working out here for me. I'm not sure I can beat this level, just because I'm not doing enough damage per second here to really go. Sad to say, I'm confident Izuku, oh god, are not candidates for being a UA trader. Okay, that's that's fair, Kayla. That's really fair. I know, Sheep, and I prefer not to talk about the project. I lost good friends. Ah, damn, I knew it. I knew it. I knew you had baggage. I knew you had bag. Ah, damn it. Yeah. I might just have to wait till I actually get gear. Like, there's just no way around this kind of thing. Either that, like... The other thing with this mode is that it has a mechanism where you can power up through. That might be the only other way I really have a shot at getting ahead in it. Yeah, I might just have to try and power up as much as I can. Grinding. Poison Tree, you're correct. After freeing all those villains, they went to CRC. However, for some reason, All For One told Nagant to bring Izuku there and then rig the place to explode. The Randall's a good character. Oh yeah, but I only have like her basic suit, so she doesn't do very well on this stage just yet, Gohan. I guess I could work on her just to clear more of the stages, but we'll just go down a level. That way I can grind a little bit easier and get all the materials I need. What time is it? So, guys, I guess, are you guys looking forward to the last episode of Hero Academia for the season? And Miguel, you're still there? But yeah, for the last episode of the season, I'm actually surprised that our finale is just going to be the kids showing off their new powers. I can't say I was expecting that. Oh, Gohan, did you do the recent story preview for Durando? Like, you know, they're doing that thing where they let you play the most recent story chapter, so you don't have to actually play the rest of the story to get to the most recent stuff. Ah, here you are, Miguel. Great, Miguel. Hey, man. Just wanted to make sure, Miguel, like, I just wanted to say thank you for, you know, chatting and all that. Like, you brought up really good points, and I always appreciate it. Just want to make sure that I didn't upset you by missing your comment or anything like that, Miguel. And just want to make sure that you know I appreciate you and your input. I'm usually confused by the pacing for the story. Thanks for the info. Ah, Poison. Yeah, no worries, Poison. To be fair, All For One's really confusing. You know, a long time ago, White Despair was talking about how stupid All For One is. And then slowly, I came to accept this reality as well. And it's like, yeah, you know, All For One really is stupid. Or, well, you know what? Maybe not stupid, but you know, like it's questionable strategies, right? It's just really questionable strategies. That's what All For One gives us most of the time. It's just there's a lot of questionable things here. But when I tell myself that All For One is just the kind of guy that waits around for life to happen instead of, you know, making life happen, when I think about it like that, it kind of makes a lot more sense. But at the same time, it's like, wow, really feels like you lost. Really feels like you are not doing the best here. Although at this point, with how much All For One looks like he's failing, I have to wonder if Horikoshi's going to make All For One say something to save face. Oh wait, this is 100%. I gotta tell you guys, this particular game mode is extremely therapeutic just because, like, in Honkai to get powerful characters, it takes so long. And this game mode lets you power them up way more than they should be. So it just feels alright. Oh, nice. Cleared it. Let's see. Oh, okay, gotcha, Gohan. Kenneth said, I'm not sure All For One's a great chess player. Maybe make him come to you and do something unexpected. Maybe trap him in a dorm and then let it drop. He said a fall from high enough would kill them. The only thing I really care about is seeing the Chigaraki conversation and the cliffhanger we get. Oh, okay, I get you, Sarge. I'm curious where exactly All For One told the other villains to bring Izuku. Just imagine the heroes interrogating them and they say, he told us to bring him to the CRC mansion, and the heroes just go, he already blew that place up, and the villain that would be funny. I wonder what he told them, mainly because I didn't get through the story stuff with Mr. Rub in the player's face, Glunt Singer, silver hair, female character. Okay, gotcha, Gohan. All For One is just the kind of guy who waits around. Meanwhile, with All For One, it's very imperative that Izuku be brought to me within the next 2 months. Oh, no, but see? He is waiting around because he's not going out to do it. He's just sitting. He's probably sitting in a chair waiting for the next camera to ding so that he can gloat in front of it. Imagine if All For One's talk to Izuku was in real time and All For One was just sitting at his office waiting for the live button to go on. And cool, Miguel. Thank you, man. Just wanted to make sure we were cool because, again, Miguel, I really appreciate your perspective here, and I do appreciate talking to you. Let's see. I guess Lappy is part of Bayonetta World, like in Astral Chain. Oh. Interesting. But yeah, no, man, like, All For One's 100% a waiter, man. He's waiting. He's waiting for them to bring Izuku to him. Also, guys, that little green-haired character that you're seeing there, she's going to be playable. That's going to be pretty cool. I'm actually pretty... I don't know if I'll have enough stuff to pull for her, but I'm excited. If anyone's wondering about the free-to-play strategy for Honkai, it's pretty much like if you want to give yourself the best odds here, you have to save up 28,000 of the premium currency, because that will guarantee you get at least the new character when she comes out. If you want to be viable in terms of combat and all that kind of stuff, you have to save up 58,000, I believe. That way you ensure that you get all of her equipments. No, the Izuku has... No. I mean like All For One is waiting quite literally in a chair as he waits for people to bring Izuku to him. I mean like that. Like, I mean like All For One himself is not the one going out there and catching Izuku. He's leaving it up to other people is what I'm trying to say. And okay, I guess I should be more careful here. All For One is the kind of person that waits for opportunity to present itself. Like, when opportunity presents itself, it seems like that's when he jumps at it. Like, when Izuku was right in front of him, he jumped at it. But otherwise, he largely seems like he's okay waiting. That's what I mean. I guess it's a little bit more nuanced than just saying that he's a waiter. But it does look like he just kind of plays the long game, and we kind of know this. All For One does seem relatively content playing the long game unless someone expedites his schedule. And in terms of waiting the long game, we saw him doing that with Shigaraki. Like, and White Despair, to your point, like as you said, All For One was willing to let Shigaraki try and try again many times until Shigaraki got it right. So that does speak to his patience. So apologies, but hopefully that nuanced response is a little bit better than my first one. To be fair, one solid punch from Izuku would kill All For One, so he talks big, but he is scared of Izuku. Yeah, he respects the power. I would definitely think he respects the power. The fact is, All For One was introduced with many quirks, and he has no excuse to not be stupid and not do more. See you at random. What time is it? Yeah, I'll probably call it in 10 minutes, guys. Or I'll probably call it when I beat this, if I beat it. Power up, power up, power, 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 power up. Buy that. Buy that. Buy that. But that kind of opportunity, is he... What kind of... does he think that Izuku will go off on his own and exhaust himself to the point that he can no longer fight, thus making it really easy to capture him? Oh, White Despair, you retracted. Good night, Matt. Do I still have money? Let's upgrade this. Let's make our stuff stronger. No, let's upgrade that one. That way things get easier for us. And then we go here. I'll wait for White Despair to make that comment again. Oh, what kind of opportunity is he expecting? Does he think that Izuku will go off on his own and exhaust himself to the point that he can no longer fight? Wait. Ah, gotcha, man. Yo, you're being sarcastic, right? You're being sarcastic, right, White Despair? I'm reading sarcasm correctly, right? Cause, right? I'm reading it correctly, right? I think I noticed the tone this time. I hope I read the sarcasm right this time around. Yes, excellent, excellent. All right, I got it. Nice. I'm happy. I'm really happy. Oh, nice. I got two. Let's see. Okay. So now I'm pretty close to the ultimate build here for this thing. Yo, White Despair, I need to know, what are you gonna do if All For One says that Izuku being taken back by UA was part of the plan? I really... I know that AN683 is going to be extremely upset, but White Despair, like, I need to know. I need to know where exactly you're feeling on this one. As far as opportunity, I doubt he could ask for a better one than that. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, he really should have done... Like, honestly, I don't know. I don't think I would have used Nagant so early, personally. Like, I feel like Nagant being a sniper is just too valuable. And if it was Nagant, Nagant could have taken advantage of the other assassins had she been told about them. Oh, no, wait, she does know about them. I feel like Nagant could have taken advantage of the chaos that they created because her entire thing is precision, right? I feel like if I was doing it, I would have kept Nagant as my ringer and then just have her try and take Izuku when the other villains are distracting him. Kayla says, do you think All For One sees Izuku as useless, or he's just saying that Izuku is useless to message with Izuku and his predecessors? Oh, to mess with Izuku and his predecessors. I think he might. I think he might see Izuku as useless legitimately somewhere deep inside. Like he might not think Izuku is as cool as All Might. But he might have changed his mind too. It's kind of hard to tell with him because I don't know the criteria. Well, you know, All For One also one time talked down Nana. Like he wasn't. He was talking smack about Nana, so he might just be a smack talker in general when it comes to this kind of stuff. I would legitimately not be surprised at all. I have such little faith in All For One that something like that would feel perfectly natural for me. It's like how he acted like everything was perfectly fine when Stain got captured. Maybe Nagant was used more for a backstory as a hero, that he knew that she would change heart maybe. That's why he planted a bomb in an attempt to hurt Izuku's morale. I mean, at this point, that layer of that kind of complication, that makes sense to me, Miguel. But I guess, what do you think, Miguel? Do you think hurting Izuku's morale is more valuable than strategic utilization of Nagant? Again, from my like, you know, putting aside the emotional hit that would have happened, I just feel like Nagant might have been better served in another situation. But then again, like, All For One isn't really showing strategic competency. Sam, if you wanted to see if you want to see like some small moments, or you know, if you want to see like those slice of life moments between the kids, this might be a chapter for you. It's ultimately a breather chapter with a little bit of setup at the end for the next bit of whatever we're going to be doing. That's how I would describe it. It's breather with setup. Is Nagant ever going to be a relevant character? I think so. I think she could come back in during the final battle. Like showing him that if he tried to negotiate or talk with the villains, that would make them change their mind, thus the bomb would detonate. That would stop Izuku's attempt from speaking to villains. Izuku stopped talking to villains, just straight up trying to capture them, because if they changed heart, they would explode. He probably wouldn't want that. Fair point. Fair point. But you know, like, it's White Despair says, obviously All For One wanted to hurt Izuku's morale so that Class 1A would come in and repair Izuku's morale. You fools just don't understand the brilliance that All For One is planning. Yeah, I don't. From my perspective, again, like, I think I'm just too stuck on the pragmatics of it. From my perspective, I would have just had Nagant headshot Izuku, or like blow off his limbs when, you know, like when, well, it'd be hard to replicate the situation, but after Izuku is beaten down, I guess the thing is there any other villain that would have traumatized Izuku the way Nagant would? And like, that's the big question. Is Nagant better served as a traumatization device, or would she be better served as a strategic resource that attacks Izuku when he's distracted? I guess that's the big question. I want to say the second one, but I don't know, man. All For One didn't predict that because he assumed the old ways of Hero Society, and also Izuku insisting on being alone. Miguel, I need to know then, what are you gonna do when All For One inevitably says that he planned everything? He expected that Izuku's friends would come for him. What are you gonna do if he says that? I need to know, Miguel. Let me know. All For One is using his smashed-in brain to his advantage. Yo, a smashed-in brain has more surface area than a smooth brain. We do have to respect that. Man, what a wonderful guy, All For One. I have so much joy just talking about him. Okay, upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. White Despair says, if we're talking traumatization device, I have a crazy idea that could allow All For One to get both trauma and Nagant. Let me know if I sound crazy, but just imagine for a moment if All For One... I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Despair is going to come up with. It, one second, Miguel. I'll read your comment in a second. I saw it there. Sorry, I just read Miguel's second part of the comment. Miguel said, if All For One come and attack the kids and probably kill one of them, that would make Izuku come back to his old ways and double down even harder than the first time. Like, you fool, you thought you could get some rest, but it was planned all along. Miguel, I'm not gonna lie, you writing that, like imagining All For One saying this in the manga was annoying. That just annoyed me to no end. That's like, yeah, that's annoying, man. What an annoying guy. Oh my gosh. Okay. Sure. Sure. I would have done it when Izuku was having that nice moment. Like, I wouldn't let Izuku rest. But alright. I think All For One would be the type to make their opponents believe they have a chance just to crush it when expected. How do you do so much damage? Oh, Gohan, it's because of this particular mode, man. It's because of the mode. I'm trying to like really break the character with this stuff right here. Have you not played the mode, Gohan? Do you not have the Hersher of Lightning? I'm pretty sure the mode should be available for you, man. The thing that confused me about Nagant is why she complacently went along with and dragged along Shizaki. She basically dragged Shizaki to Izuku just to connect to the plot points of the story. I mean, like, no, like, Nagant saw Shizaki and she just assumed he was a victim. I mean, don't you guys assume people are victims naturally whenever you see them? Just going about your life. Like, I'm sure you wouldn't assume that they're like child abusers or child murderers. Like, you wouldn't assume that, but you would assume they're a victim. Like, that's what Nagant did. She just went out and assumed that a guy in a jail was a victim and not anything else. Yeah, no, she just felt bad for him. That's pretty much all it really was. At least that's what it like looks like what it was. Part of the fantasy of being a demon lord is to have a hero to crush in the climax. That is true, Miguel. That is true. But my God, that is annoying. Haven't played the mode. Yeah, I have the Herschel Lightning. One of my favorite. Oh yeah, Gohan. She's available on this mode, so you should definitely give it a go. You'll probably be able to do relatively well in it. And it's part of the Hersher of Lightning story. So she's pretty much discovering the truth of the world type thing during this mode. Like, give it a try if you ever get the time. Oh, oops. Oh, I cleaned her out. If all for one truly wait, did I get White Despair's comment here? Oh, literally any civilian, just take a random kid off the street and blow him up in Izuku's arms. Instant trauma. Yeah, it would be instant trauma. I agree. Like, I would have, like, if I was All For One, yeah, I probably would have just, I would have found Koda, and I would have destroyed that kid right in front of Izuku. Mind you, if he gets into the shelter first, then okay, you know what, I will accept my defeat. But yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Have Izuku try to save a kid, and telling the kid everything's gonna be alright, and then just end the kid. That would have broken Izuku for sure. Now let's see. Like, just have one of the kids take a little, or just have one of the villains take a little kid hostage, and then when Izuku manages to defeat that villain and rescue the kid, you blow him up. No reason for you to blow up one of your underlings. Just blow up literally anyone else. I read a few stories where the hero is the bad guy. Yep. All For One's explosions, Kink blowing up. Oh, hey Ryan. Nana until her successor grows up, then explodes him to bait his successor to an assassin who also blows up the leaves. Barely alive enough to lead the heroes to the mansion which he blows up. Can Izuku easily curb stomp these assassins now that he has 1A backing him up? Imagine 1A seeing Izuku curb stomp an assassin without any assistance. Yeah, I think, well, I mean, mind you, Bakugo curb stomped an assassin just by blasting him in the head. So these guys can definitely do it. I mean, to Miguel's credit, Miguel said, I don't think that kind of direct agility would work, as Rage would power up Izuku even more. He was aiming more for a slower burn, wearing down his morale and making him depressed and hopeless. We do know that he is doing that. He's like chipping away at Izuku's soul. That's what he wants to do. But like I really do feel that when you strip away Nagant happens very quickly, right? You have Nagant, she has her whole little thing where Izuku thinks he finally reaches through to her, and then she blows up at the happy moment. You could do the same thing with a villain, right? You have the villain kidnap the kid, it's a moment of peril, Izuku goes in, and he's able to finally save the kid's smiling, Izuku smiling, he was able to save it after a really hard fight, and then he blows up, right? In terms of like the general impact there, you still accomplish what he did with Nagant. That's what White Despair is saying. Like, you can go into the slow burn after that for sure, but in terms of the Nagant, and if you want to substitute with what White Despair was doing, it would work. I legitimately think it would work, just because the dynamics are pretty much the same. Like, Nagant wasn't a slow situation. Although I think, Miguel, you were talking more about like justifying why you would go the longer convoluted route that you suggested All For One's doing. But just putting in that little extra bit of info. All For One is smart, but he's unfathomably lazy like me. Okay, I like the MC with the status effect manga. Actually want to read the light novel source. Okay. And yeah, Ryan, that's what I think. All For One, White Despair's skit. I just can't decide who to use in Operation Traumatize Izuku with an explosion spinner. Personally, I think a random civilian will work. And All For One's like, you're right, Spinner. I should blow up the only person I have. What do you think about Alloy being Genshin Impact? Oh, I thought that was lovely. I haven't really used her, but I think it's lovely. She does look kind of weird, you know, kind of. But that's a matter of sensibilities. Yep, let's go over here. Oh man, what a good time. The manga is close to where the MC makes his team and changes his identity to cover up who he and his waifu are. Helps him move around. Which manga? Are you talking about status effect manga, Gohan? Oh, there's nothing here. Oh, there it is. As I mentioned, Nagant was more like an example out of her about okay, gotcha. I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying, Miguel. Actually, I wonder about that. I wonder if that was actually effective, Miguel. Because, like, when Izuku takes down the second assassin, he tells All Might that he's not sure if it's going to blow up and to stay away from it. So, at that point, if you think about it, at that point, if the fact that Izuku was telling All Might at the second assassin to stay away from the assassin because there's no telling if he'll blow up, I feel like that had a slightly different effect on Izuku. Because, like, at that point, it sounds like Izuku doesn't even care if the person blows up. Ugh. Rough. Oh, failure for him. Okay, gotcha, Gohan. Giga Brain. Nuking the one to compete with Izuku. Yeah, oof. Rough Izuku. Alright. I kind of wish that I was doing this run on the higher difficulty danger mode, but what can you really do? Anyway, guys, I'm pretty much almost done with this mode here. And once I'm done, I'm probably going to call it a night. Yeah, and at that point, I had basically given up and had a lot of remorse for the villains, I'm guessing, at least for a bit, said Ryan. I mean, Izuku cannot tell if the person would blow up, but if changing their minds is a factor, that certainly he would want to avoid it. Agreed. If that is a factor, he would want to avoid it. Trying to find what I should use here. Yeah, I guess just upgrade. Okay, so we do that. And we do that. Upgrade that all the way. Also from info I got of it, he levels up so much that it allows his stats to not only catch up but surpass the other summon heroes. Also, only 2 of the summon heroes are good people in that story. Oh, okay. Noted, Gohan, noted. Man, at this point though, no matter what All For One says, I think we're gonna have a great time when it finally comes out, whatever All For One's master plan is. Hashtag master plan. Although it's more than two more than Moonlight Fantasy. Moonlight Fantasy, yes, yes, yes. I wonder if I'm going to be able to beat this one before the time's up. I don't think I will. Yeah. Don't think I will be able to beat this one before time's up. Too bad for the bonus reward. Let's see. Hawks, nobody in Tartarus should be a threat to you, Izuku, except for Lady Nagant. All For One, going to blow up Lady Nagant. But, for the sake of hurting your morale, Izuku. Like, yeah, All For One would probably be like a really sacrificial type player for chess. He'd probably sacrifice his pieces a lot if he had the opportunity to. Now think about it, All For One pulled a Miss Curious with Izuku. Curious used blood against Toga and blew her up with it. All For One used Izuku's kindness and heart swaying speeches against him and blew up Lady Nagant in his face. Yeah, Kayla. In a really weird way. It was kind of similar mechanics. Like if we imagine the kindness to be blood, and it being shoved down her throat, then yes. Oof, rough. I am still curious about that explosion mechanism, though. I really do wonder how that works. I hope we get to see that at some point in the future. I would really love to know how exactly he's able to do that, because that just seems like an overpowered power. I really hope it's a remote detonation quirk that only happens if you like shake hands with someone or something like that. Okay guys, I might not be able to win. I'm doing my best, but these kind of things, this guy's always really hard, and I don't know if I can do it. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yes, nice. Oh wait, you know what? I think I actually will be able to win it. I think I built the character just right. Yeah, I'm about to lose the bonuses I got. No, never mind. Still have the bonuses. Yay! We did it! I tricked my sister into watching My Hero Academia with me by binging Avatar with her and then immediately starting My Hero Academia in English and skipping the OP. She didn't even realize it was an anime at first. I assume he just snuck in as a failure clause quirk along with Airwalk and she didn't know. Well, that in of itself is just interesting. A failure clause quirk. That's why I want to know if it's actually based on screwing someone over. I want to know if it actually takes that into consideration. I think it bothers me a lot as well. This Hersher copied Himeko's fighting style. But Gohan, that's not fair. The entire storyline for that part is how much she was deeply affected by Himeko and ultimately was inspired by her. Like she only got through chapter 25 was because Himeko's ghost or her memory of her had shown up to help her out on that one. Like it's not an issue of copying, it's an issue of inheriting. You're really mean, Gohan. Wow, man. You're really affected by how much you don't like this girl, guy. Wow. Can't believe I had to play defense for her of all people. Oh, fair enough, Gohan. Well, Gohan, to be fair, a lot of people cry about that. Like, if you look at the Honkai subreddit, they're always talking about the day Himeko died because no one's really happy about it. Well, you know, they're all sad. They're all sad. Hmm. Might as well. We're 72 points from getting this, which I assume must be amazing, because it's the last support Valkyrie on it. Man, Gohan, you can be quite not bloodthirsty. You can be quite brutal when you want to be. Well, the good thing, Gohan, is that there's alternate universes. Now, one thing I will admit, Gohan, is that unfortunately, when that character died, like they stopped making more versions of her. So ever since she died, there's been no new battle suit of her. So unfortunately, all of the Himekos in the game have been power crept. Even like her best mode, like this is just like no one really uses it anymore. And that's because of the death. Like ever since the death, they haven't made any more battle suits for her. Like people hope she comes back in the future, but it's just tough. Like I'm not sure it might ever actually happen. It'd be nice if she comes back, but who knows? Oh, I gotta waste because I'm gonna be calling it here. Need to. Do I have this set up? Yeah, I remember you told me about that, Gohan, that you had that one. I'm sure it's fun to use. It's fun to use when you do like the sim missions on the Armada, Gohan. Like I've used it before on those trial fights. Just wasting gacha stamina for anyone wondering what I'm doing. I'm still laughing at how ever since Mina did the on-screen torture thing on Mineta after joint training, he was literally never pervy again. Wish the battle creep stuff wasn't so severe. Me too, man. Me too. Like right now, I know some of the meta here, Gohan. Of the old battle suits, pretty much the ones who are grindable, farmable, and the farmable ones that are still relevant are this one, this one, and I'm talking about the farmable ones, Gohan, not like the gacha exclusive, and this one. Those are the only farmable. Yeah, I think this is the one. Those are the only farmable battle suits that are still viable for the meta, which is really unfortunate. Otherwise, like you better be using the Herrscher of Lightning if you want to do meta stuff. All right, let's see. Watch All for One blow up the UTA trader in Izuku's face to mess him up more. Oh, that'd be great. Okay, guys. Thanks so much for being here. I'm going to call it there. Thanks for sticking around, and thanks for the awesome conversations. It was a really fun one. I guess I'll be back on Sunday. Wait, Durandal isn't good either. 1 second, Gohan. So, this one isn't that viable. Like, there's just many other characters that do her job better. In terms of the gotcha suits, like, this Durandal is still good. This Durandal is still good. the others aren't. Love the all for one roasting. Yeah, it's fun. We have White Despair here as well. So good night to Chris. Good night to Sam. Good night to AN683. Good night to Viz. Have a good one, Viz. And I pray for your sanity in Genshin. Good night to Robert. Good night to White Despair, Kayla, and Miguel. There's 18 people. I wonder if I can get all 18. Good night to Ryan, of course. Good night to Puzzle and Dragons. Yeah, guys. Thanks for being here. You guys all rock. And yeah, I guess next Hero Academia video, maybe on Sunday. If I have time, I'll make another one, but we'll have to see. Yeah. We're great, White Despair. It's always wonderful to have you. All right, cool. Good night to everyone. Ending the stream in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Till next time, everybody. Stay safe.